So today you are joining us for Green Fair Organic Cafe Kickstart Your Health. This is almost a follow-up workshop to our Jump Starts workshop at the beginning of this month. As we talked about then, Jump Starts and Kickstarts come in all shapes and sizes. And the beauty of them is you can make them fit the needs of your community. And today, Gwen is going to treat us to something very different in that putting a jumpstart kickstart in conjunction with a cafe. And how does that work? And so Gwen is very familiar with the plant-based world. I'm not going to go in depth with Gwen's background. She can do that for you. But just needless to say, she has her fingers in many aspects of this world. For those of you who have seen two very popular films, Eating Our Way to Extinction and also The Game Changers, Gwen played a significant role in both of those. But at an even deeper level, her Green Fair Organic Cafe is really her passion. And it's where she can spread that educational message and also the nonprofit that goes along with it. So she's going to tell us about both of those and how she is changing lives every single day through the work that she does. So Gwen, it is a pleasure to have you here. I am thrilled, and I know others are as well, that you've taken the time to be with us today. So I'm going to hand it over to you. You can introduce yourself and then share with us the great amount of information you have.
Very good. Well, thank you, Natasha. I want to thank you and Leanne first for inviting me to the CNS Whole Communities event. I'm really thrilled to be here. Dr. Campbell was my inspiration and really the impetus for pretty much everything that I've done during the past 10 years. And so I'm really thrilled to be able to share some of that journey with you, and hopefully inspire your path as well, and help you make progress in your own community. So I've got a kind of a fun presentation, and I'm going to share my screen here. So hopefully everybody can see that. And I use this this slide. It's like the heartbeat with the plant, and that really struck me because that's everything that we're doing. So this is me in 1964 at age 7. It's the bottom of an ashtray is my picture. And as a brownie, I brought this home for my mother. And this was when 65% of the population smoked cigarettes. And so this was a normal gift for a child to be bringing home, for a parent to put on a coffee table for their guests. And my mother still has it on a table. And when I went home, it was like, oh my gosh, I made an ashtray. And if you think about how far we've come since that time, it provides hope to me that it's possible to make change. And you see when the majority of the population is doing that, and sort of where we are today with less than 15% of the population smoking, change is definitely possible. So that's my hope and inspiration for the future. I went to Virginia Tech. I have an electrical engineering degree, which is pretty far from health and nutrition. I spent my career in the technology space with these companies. I had my own company, Mosaic, for 10 years, where we took cloud computing into the CIA. We were the first provider of cloud computing to the CIA. I sold my company after 10 years, and I had lost a partner to heart disease during that time. And after I sold the company, I started thinking about what I was going to do next. And I watched Forks Over Knives in 2011, and it was almost like a cloud had lifted, a veil had lifted from my vision. And I think Dr. Esselstyn talking about heart disease is a preventable disease, and his book on reversing heart disease really resonated with me. So Colin Campbell actually grew up where I live in Virginia. So his dairy farm was out in Loudoun County. He got married actually less than half a mile from my restaurant, to Karen in Herndon, Virginia. So and he actually spent 10 years at Virginia Tech teaching. So when I started getting interested in getting involved in this space, I reached out to Colin, and we just really connected. I basically asked him how I could help. And that was when Nelson was doing the Plant Pure Nation film. So I got involved with that. And we did this. I'm gonna talk just a little bit about all of these. Are all the books I spent maybe a year and a half before I reached out to Colin, reading these books and really coming up to speed on what the plant-based community was about. I'm probably preaching a lot to the choir, but these are some of the most inspirational books. Michael Moss has another book out now called Hooked, that's about tobacco industry executives moving into the food industry. And so whether it's animal products or processed food, being vegan these days is not good enough. It's what Colin is always saying, which is a whole food plant-based diet, or what we call a whole plant diet. So minimally processed plants. I was able to hear Colin and Dr. Esselstyn, Neil Barnard, Michael Clapper, and Dr. Neil Barnard. I don't know if anybody's ever been on the Holistic Holiday at Sea Cruise. They're actually starting this back up again next year, but it was the predominance of technology and speakers. It was extremely compelling as the boat took on people for the it's called CME credits in the medical community. So there were a lot of doctors and medical professionals there